Bonjour mon petit chiflet, Amber here, and woohoo! Today is September 11th. We are almost halfway through the month, and I'm just sitting down to film my August wrap up. I don't know what to tell you. I've been busy. I've had a lot of candle stuff to do, one thing being taking my candles, a couple to be sold in a bookstore. I don't know if I mentioned that, but that's a thing that's happening in my life right now. Then it was my birthday. My computer / hard drive don't want to be friends right now, so that's also kind of throwing me off. But all that being said, we have a wrap up to film. Sorry if you can hear tape in the background. My mom is wrapping up my friend's birthday gift because she is kind of semi-professional with gift wrapping. But anyway, I had quite the emotional roller coaster of a reading month in August, and I need to talk about it. I'm going to try to keep this brief. Also, I'm going to try to remember what these books are about because we're almost halfway through the month and I'm reading other books right now, so my thoughts are kind of jumbled. Okay, so I read 5 books in August, which is good for me. August was also DisneyAthon. I'm going to say this right off the bat. I did not complete DisneyAthon because I ended up like deviating from my TBR, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. So first and foremost, before I started reading for DisneyAthon, I read an arc that I received from NetGalley, and it was the arc of Tools of Engagement by Tessa Bailey, which is the 3rd in the Hot and Hammered series. So we have Fix Her Up, and then Love Her or Lose Her, and now Tools of Engagement, which follows Georgie, the main character of Fix Her Up, her older sister Bethany, and Wes, who is this young guy who's just moved to Port Jefferson, is that their town? From Texas. I just said that with an accent. Okay. From Texas. Still signed up to take care of his 5-year-old niece while her mother is kind of going through some stuff. He works for Bethany and Georgie's brother Steven at their real estate, like home flipping business, the family business. They meet in the second book in Love Her or Lose Her, so this picks up and follows them, where in the first 2 books we follow Bethany kind of stepping out from the family business and wanting to start flipping homes on her own and have more of a hands-on role in construction. That's the word I've been looking for, construction, because she's always been like the decorator, I forget the term, but she's done like the staging of the homes to make it like presentable to be shown to potential buyers. But she wants a more hands-on role, and like her family kind of like is like, no, your place. And she's like, y'all give me a sledgehammer, I can do this house myself. So long story short, she is working on renovating Travis from Fix Her Up old childhood home. He gave it to her, and somehow Steven and Bethany get caught up in this reality show competition where they are competing against each other to see which sibling can flip the best house, blah blah blah. Wes joins her team because he's like already in love with her, and it's just their relationship. She kind of wants nothing to do with him. She's kind of like has this like cold persona. He's 23, she's 30, I believe. But yeah, that doesn't last long because she's like obviously like really sexually attracted to him and whatnot, and just like attracted to him. I've been talking about this book already for too long. Okay, I'm just gonna say I don't really know about this one. I don't know. One, if I hadn't read the other 2 books in this series, I'd be completely lost. This one isn't one that I think could stand on its own. Usually with romance series, they each follow a new storyline, new character. They're set in the same world, but they can stand on their own. This one most of the backstory, the build up, the important parts are in the previous story. So like, if you don't know, you don't know, you know? While I do appreciate both characters sort of like complicated layers, I really just couldn't vibe with Bethany at all. I found her, I don't know, Wes made more sense to me, and I really enjoyed watching him grow as a character into more than just some like cowboy, super alpha cowboy. I also really loved his relationship with his niece, who did not read like a 5-year-old a lot of the time. That was a tiny pet peeve of mine. Like the way she talked a lot was sort of older. I don't know, but also just one time I'd love to read a Tessa Bailey book where the main guy love interest isn't like the overly macho alpha guy. I'm like, I see that's your thing, ma'am, but it's a lot. Every book is a lot. I like the authors that give me versatility. I did enjoy their like banter and communication, but 23? I found out age gap romances aren't my thing. It didn't sit well with me. Maybe because Bethany and I are the same age, so that's like me doing dirty things with like, who is 20? Like Timothy Chalamet, who I think's cute. I don't care what none of y'all have to say about his sad French boy face. That's my type. But like on a realistic plane, that's not gonna happen because he's a child. I was 23 once. I was a child. I'm still a child. And then the ending of the no. Anyway, let's move on. So then I read the sequel in a series that has completely taken over my life. That's actually a theme this month. I read A Torch Against the Night by Safa Tahir, which is the sequel to An Ember in the Ashes, and I would like to speak to a lawyer because I need to sue. So I don't even know how to talk about this book without, okay, so this book, the first book, The Ember in the Ashes, follows Laya and Elias. The first one, Laya is this scholar girl whose whole her brother, her older brother Darren, has just been imprisoned for basically being suspected of being a rebel spy against the Empire. And Laya runs to the resistance to try to get their help to break him out of prison. The rest of her family is dead. Her grandparents, who had basically raised them, were murdered in the capture of Darren. She strikes a deal with the resistance that they'll help her break Darren out of prison if she agrees to spy on the commandant of Blackcliff Academy, which is like the Empire military school that trains their soldiers and, you know, warriors and whatnot. So Laya goes to Blackcliff as a slave to the commandant, and that's where she meets Elias, who is a mask. He is about to graduate from Blackcliff, and he hates his life and all that being a mask represents. He doesn't want to continue like inflicting pain and just like injustice. Is that the word I'm thinking of? He's also the commandant's son. She hates him. He hates her, but like, it is what it is. Their paths cross. A lot happens that I really can't really discuss. Anyway, this picks up like directly after the end of book 1. Laya and Elias are escaping from the Empire. Is that a spoiler? I don't think it is. And they are what? How can I say this? Okay. They're on their way, still trying to break Darren out of Calf prison. Is that how you pronounce that? Which is like deadly prison. They really don't know if he's alive, but they're hoping. And then they're also running from Helene, who is our third POV in this book, Elias's former best friend. Now she is the second in command, kind of like the hand of the Emperor. Her main goal, her current order, is to track Elias down and kill him. We are on the brink of war. There's just like a lot going on, okay? I don't even know what else I can actually say without spoiling it, but this book, this series has me so stressed out, and like it's worse now than initially when I read this, because yesterday I finished reading A Rebirth of the Gates, which is the 3rd book, and okay, I thought book 1 was intense, but like I'm just not allowed to rest at any point, and it's not fair, if I'm being honest. Elias deserves so much better. The path that we've taken with his story, it just really hurts me, if I'm being completely honest with you. I just want him to be allowed to be happy for more than 3 seconds, and I'm not going to get it. I know I'm not going to get this, especially, we'll talk about book 3 at the end of this month. Jesus help me. Let's go back to book 2. What I wrote down was I was very excited for the prospect of watching Laya really come into her own, and I've enjoyed really watching her grow as a character from this like very fearful girl to someone who's learning about her own strength and power. If I'm being honest, I don't care about Helene at all. At all. Like at all. Like all this that you're going through sucks, but I don't care. I don't like her. I don't know if I'm alone in that, but sis can choke. You know who can choke and die a painful death? Keenan. I love this book. I love this series. I know I complain and yell about Sabaa Tahir not respecting me as a person, but I really hope that one day I'm able to write a book that hurts people as much as this book hurts me. And to do it well, you know? Speaking of books that hurt me, oh, I'm gonna cry again. I read Night of the Dragon by Julie Kagawa, which is the 3rd and final book of the Shadow of the Fox series. Y'all have heard me ramble about this series. It is easily my top favorite series of all time. I will ride or die for this series. I need more people to read it. In book 1, Shadow of the Fox, we follow Yumiko, who is half kitsune, half human, and she has been raised at this temple. This temple holds the final piece of the dragon scroll. Every 1,000 years, I believe, the dragon, who is like sort of this like god, grants a wish. This wish can bring about the whole destruction of the world, and the temple that Yumiko lives at has been tasked to protect it and keep it out of the wrong hands. Well, the wrong hands come a-calling, and Yumiko must take this piece and run and try to get it to the other temple, the Steelfeather temple. I can never remember what it's called. As she's escaping, she runs quite literally into our other POV, Tatsumi, who is a shadow warrior, demon slayer. He holds he wields the what's it called? His sword. There's a demon living in a sword, and he has been trained his whole life by his clan to be the one to wield it. When we meet his character, he is like very cold and like isn't allowed to feel emotions, and the story kind of follows them. Yumiko convinces him that she knows where the piece is. If he helps her get there, she'll help him get the piece or something. He doesn't know that she has it. So along the way, it's like they both kind of are learning about humanity, finding it in themselves. We meet a whole cast of characters along the way who I absolutely adore. So by the time we get to the 3rd book, everything has hit the fan, you know? Everything that could have gone wrong has gone wrong, and now we're trying to fix it. I don't really know I can't say anything really about this book without spoiling the first 2. But just know, this book has ripped every single piece of my heart out and crushed it. I cried for like the entirety of this book, and I'm not even joking or exaggerating. The whole time was like texting Brittany, my friend Brittany. She had read it before me, and it was just a lot of yelling, a lot of crying, a lot of why is this happening? My heart was left in absolute shambles. This was an emotional roller coaster, is an understatement. And I loved the whole series. I loved watching as all of the characters grew, how they became this little unit, this little family. Honestly, just watching just like I guess, you know, like the strength in numbers thing, that's truthfully this group. I don't know what I'm going to do now without this series. I'm very sad. Once again, I hope to write a book or a series that hurts me the way this one hurt me too. I'm an awful person. So then I picked up one of my most anticipated reads of the whole year, Forest of Souls by Lori M. Lee. Okay, so this book follows Saoirse, who is training. She wants to become the hand of the something, the emperor or the queen's shadow. That's what it's called, the queen's shadow, which is kind of like the queen's like spy, which is like all the queens already work for her, basically. She's been training for it for a long time. She kind of was taken from an orphanage. She doesn't have any family. She doesn't really know where she comes from. The story really starts where her best friend Sango is killed, and Saoirse brings her back to life, realizing that she's told that she is like the first soul guide in like ages, and she is basically taken or forced to go to the Forest of Souls, which is the realm of Ronan the Spider King, and he needs her to something about keeping the forest in check, and she needs him to basically tell her how to, is it control her magic? Something about her magic, and so she'll still be able to be the shadow guide, and also she has to figure out how to do what he needs her to do so she can fully heal Sango, so she won't die, because like her magic is now connected to Sango's life. I don't know. I'm very confused because this book was disappointing to me, and I'm really sad about that, because the premise sounded so amazing. The cover is stunning. Like, in theory, this could have been an amazing book, but I just desperately wish I was able to connect at all to the story, to the characters, especially because, like I keep saying, it was at the top of very high on my list of anticipated reads for the year. Held a lot of potential, like I said, but it was lacking any sort of emotional depth. I didn't feel anything for any of these characters. I didn't feel any connection between the characters. I will say that I did really like that the relationship in this story is actually is a friendship. There's like no romantic relationship in this story. It's the story of two girls being besties. I don't know what comes after that, because there are sort of like hints at other situations. Yeah, I don't know. I felt like I didn't really retain anything from this story. It was another one I kept having to read over things because I felt like I was skipping chunks of this book, but I wasn't, and I would reread it and still instantly forget what was going on. There's no depth to this book. There's only one character in here that I care about Theon, so I liked him. I will say that the way the book ended intrigued me enough to pick up the sequel when and if it comes out. When it comes out, I don't know why I said if. Yeah, that was wild, but I gave this a 3-star, which... So then, because I was disappointed with that book, I kind of didn't want to go in a slump, and I was kind of feeling intimidated by the concept of reading another 2020 release, because the next one I had set up was The Year of the Witching, which I've heard amazing things about, but I'd heard amazing things about this book too, so I didn't want that book to let me down. So I deviated from, this is where we deviate from my DisneyAthon reading, and I read another sequel to another series that I absolutely adore. I read The Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakraborty, which is the sequel to The City of Brass. What can I say about this book? So The City of Brass follows Nari, who has grown up in Cairo. She's grown up completely on her own. Long story short, she is a con woman, and she runs these little tricks that she passes off as magic, and she's performing this like almost like a seance type situation where she ends up at the end of it accidentally summoning a Deva warrior, Dara, who sweeps her way to Davabad, the city of brass, this city in this land full with jinn and Deva and the Shafit, which are half jinn, half human, because she herself actually is a Deva. She is the last Nahid, which was this family of healers in Davabad. She is taken to the palace, the castle, the palace, and put in the royal infirmary. At the palace, this is where we meet Prince Alizade, who is our second POV in this book. He is the king's second son and is training to be his brother's Cade, which is kind of, I guess, like second in command, guard or something like that. They strike a reluctant friendship, but at the same time there's still like tension brewing between all of the different factions and castes within Davabad. And then like a lot of wild stuff happens at the end that I can't really talk about without spoiling it. Excuse me. So this book picks up, well it starts, the prologue is like right after, like a few months maybe after the end of book 1, and then we jump 5 years later, which kind of blew my mind. What can I say? So in Kingdom of Copper, like I said, it's 5 years after the City of Brass. What can I say? I'll say that there is war coming to Davabad. There is a lot of trouble within Davabad. All of our characters are going through it. I love this book, I can say that. I love this series. There's a lot going on. And there's a lot going on. I will say, I hated seeing Nari kind of like diminished and not the same, just like con woman, no nonsense, I do what I want girl as she was in the first one. Alizade deserves better. Just gonna put that out there. I have like a theory that I had was confirmed, and I'm hype about that. I hated seeing a character that I kind of loved in the first book be this awful individual. This person can choke and die, especially after the way this book ended. I'm filming currently a spoilery vlog with all of my thoughts. I don't know when it's going to go up because I haven't read the third book yet, but I do have the third book, so maybe in October. We'll see. I don't plan on reading anything in November, so we'll see when I'm going to read what is it called? Empire of Gold. But oh my god, I can't say anything. Loved the book, loved the series. So yeah, those were the books that I read in August. I went through it. I went through some turmoil in August, and I've started September off just as emotionally draining. Like I said, I just finished reading The Reaper of the Gates, and then I have some other books set up that are probably gonna hurt me this month. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like me, feel free to subscribe. Let me know what you read in August, if anything destroyed you, what you're reading in September. If you're participating in any readathons in September, I'm doing Monsterathon and Yonsei-athon. All right, I'll see you soon. I'll see you soon.